concerned citizen or something?
No, sir, I do not work for the police.
Oh, the day the wall came down. This court is a facade full of clowns. What's up, everybody? Here is part 2 of my trespass appeal hearing. This is the first witness, Jerry, the liar, Hunter. He tells so many lies and contradicts himself so much, it's ridiculous. So stay tuned, watch the video. I hope you like it.
Email to the appellant for today's hearing.
This county's file.
And the county would at this time call its first witness, which is Mr. Jerry Hunter, who's previously been sworn, and we would just ask if the witnesses can sit in the witness box over there.
Sure. Sir, you were here when the oath was administered. You took the oath. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name?
Gerald Hunter
Mr. Hunter, where do you work?
at the Pasco County Sheriff, Pasco County Tax Collector's Office.
And what is your position with the Pasco County Tax Collector's Office?
Senior Lead Safety Agent for Road System.
So it is a lead safety agent and road tester. What are your general duties and responsibilities?
Senior Lead, I'll provide internal security to the office and make sure everything operates in a safe manner, with instructions as a road tester, perform a road test.
Now, the tax collector has numerous offices within Pasco County, correct?
Yes, sir.
So are you in just Land O'Lakes, or are you in throughout the offices?
Throughout the offices.
Okay. The appellant in this case, are you familiar with him?
Yes.
Had you had opportunity to interact with him in your office prior to May 30th of 2023?
No, I have not.
So the date of the trespass that we're here for, had you interacted with him prior to that date? Had you ever been in your office before?
That's the only time I've seen him in the office.
Okay. So let me take you to that day, May 30th of 2023. What could you describe? What were your interactions? What did you observe?
I was on the road test and I got a call from one of my safety agents telling me the camera guys were back in the office. I asked him which one, these two of them. I said, okay. So I get back to the office and this gentleman here, I think he had a tripod set up right in front of the gatekeeper. So I just walked past him and found out what's going on with the latest movie up this whole situation. And he said, I think the sheriff is on the way.
Okay, so a couple questions on that. When you say the gatekeeper, could you describe to the hearing officer what's a gatekeeper?
The gatekeeper is like when you walk in the office, basically like a receptionist. When they come in, the customer tell them what they're here for, she issue them a ticket for the transaction that they're here for.
Okay, and then I have a question if you don't mind. Can you identify when you say this person was here with what you believe to be a tripod?
Well, this gentleman right in front of them.
The appellant?
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned that the information you received was that the guy's video recording were back again. So had there been prior incidents that involving other individuals?
There have been, but the others was, in my opinion, cooperative, unlike this gentleman.
Okay. Okay. And what was it about this gentleman, the appellant, that would say he was uncooperative?
The way he had his gear set up, it was in the way of the customers. You know, I can't describe the officer, but you had to walk past him, through him. He stood there, he was reading the magazine. Got into a few verbal conversations with some customers. One lady said she don't want to be recorded or whatever. He said, you know, it's not your business, something to that effect. Leave me alone. And one customer wanted to pick his gear up and throw it outside. He asked me first if I go to got stuff outside, would you guys call the police to me? I said, it's not that serious. You be going to short or whatever. Stuff like that.
So the area that you testified where you set up outside the gatekeeper, is that every customer that comes into your office, do they have to interact with that person, with the gatekeeper?
Yes, the gatekeeper, like I said, give him a ticket for what they're here for. So he was set up right off to the side where the customer had to go through, around him, or past him, or whatever.
So a customer really didn't have a choice.
Right.
Okay, and from your observations, were his actions that day disruptive to the ordinary business of the tax collector?
Yes, sir.
No further questions from the county for this witness.
Okay. You have a chance to cross-examine him based on your prior testimony.
So Jerry, you said you're the lead
Yes, sir.
security guy?
Lead safety.
Lead safety agent, okay. And you never noticed me before in that DMV?
Nope,
Before that day?
nope. No, sir.
Was I trespassed for being disruptive or for the violating the Driver Protection Privacy Act?
I don't know.
Objection, this witness would not have any knowledge of that.
You don't know why I was trespassed?
All I know is you were disrupting our operation.
In what form?
Setting up your material in the area you was.
Did I walk
You
in?
want to comply with our policies, no cameras.
So no cameras is the policy I was violating.
So again,
No cameras was the policy I was
I
violating.
said you wasn't cooperating with our policy about cameras.
Did it?
And you had your area, your setup in a way that we wouldn't have, I wouldn't want you to have it, because it interfered with our operation.
And who specifically did I interfere with?
Our operation.
In what form? What I don't understand. Did I not leave plenty of room to my left for people to walk by?
No.
Was anyone
There were
hindered?
chairs up to the left, people couldn't walk,
I'm sorry?
right? Where you had your gear set up, there was chairs to the left so people couldn't walk to the left of you.
Sir, with all due respect, I left plenty of room. My tripod was directly in front of me.
Objection, that's fine. You can testify to.
Was I standing right next to the gatekeeper?
You were to the left of the gatekeeper.
To the left. And I was all the way up against the counter, right?
You was what?
Was I up against the counter?
No, you wasn't.
I wasn't up against the counter. How close to the counter was I?
Well, for example, sir, if I could, if this is the gatekeeper, you have set up right here, and you was to the left, and we have a row of chairs right there.
See, I'm not understanding what you're saying. Let's say this podium is the gatekeeper. She's sitting right there. I came right here, asked for Timothy Couette to come out to receive a 30-second transaction. I put my tripod right in front of me. I pointed towards the back where the offices where Timothy Couette usually comes back in. Are you telling me I'm that wide that from where I was to where the chairs start, there was no space for anyone to get through?
Right.
You need to demonstrate. I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah. Can I go?
Yeah, sure. You have any objection?
No.
Okay, so let's say this is the gatekeeper. You enter the office right here. The customers come in, they tell the gatekeeper what they're here for, she give them a number, they go to the right or the left and have a seat. This gentleman, if that's the gatekeeper, had his tripod set up right about this area, facing that way. He wasn't next to the gatekeeper like you say it was. Standing there reading the magazine, and right here, you have a row of seats, that's what I'm saying. So you was not over here like you claimed you was when I walked in. You was over here in your gate part, reading the magazine.
Do you have any evidence of that?
You do,
I'm sorry?
don't you?
I believe I'm asking the questions right now. Do you have any evidence of what you're saying?
Objection to the form of question.
Well,
Testimony.
this goes to he said, she said, because I always make sure to stay out of everybody's way. I'm a very polite person. No one
County
had,
objecting, this is argument.
So, right now, let's just ask questions based on this testimony. You can tell me your side of the story.
okay. Did anyone come up to you, sorry. Did anyone come up to you and say I was in their way?
No,
Okay. Are you saying I was so close to the seats that someone couldn't get by me or sit down there? Is that correct?
you was close enough.
So nobody could get by or sit down?
Nope,
Nobody could get by or sit down where I was standing.
you was already.
Objection, ask the answer.
Okay. Bear with me here because what I'm hearing is shocking. So, again, no evidence of what you're saying. Nope. Did you bring video of where I'm standing? Did you bring any testimony from anybody that said I was blocking their way? No?
No, I did not.
So we're strictly relying on your word, is that correct?
I'm just answering your questions.
So we're strictly relying on your word. You have no evidence of what you're saying right now.
I'm just answering your questions, sir. You're saying relying on my word. We as in who?
Is that a yes or a no?
I'm just answering your questions.
And I have 2 objections to this line of questioning. He's asked and answered the same question about 6 times, and to the form of the question, testimony is evidence.
So testimony. So we're going by hearsay evidence here. There's no evidence of that. Secondly, I have a little video clip of him when another one of our civil rights guys came in, where he straight tells him right to his face, "We don't mind you recording in here." May I play that?
Can I say something to that? I'm pretty sure I said, I don't mind you recording. I don't know
Well, if you're the lead safety guy and you don't mind,
I don't know where you get this we from. I told the gentleman, I don't mind him recording.
And I'm going to object to any line of questioning involving a different individual on a different day. It's got no relevance to this hearing.
the relevance is that it happened after I was trespassed for the same reason. So if he doesn't mind after I was trespassed, somebody recording, he shouldn't have minded the same day I was recording and out of everybody's way. May I play that video? It's less than a 20-second clip, I believe.
County's position on the video.
I don't think it's relevant simply for what he's saying. It's a video involving a different individual on a different day. Also, if he's playing on his phone, it's not going to be admitted as an exhibit. Procedurally, I'm not sure how he intends to accomplish that, but I also don't think it's relevant.
I can email any video you need, same day. Secondly, the relevance is the same reason I was trespassed from there. The following guy came in and he was okay with him being there recording. Why would it be a problem for us, but not for him? That shows discrimination, in my opinion.
And I will add, I expect testimony. I don't know that this witness is the person to elaborate on it because he doesn't fit that policy. But I expect testimony that if someone is not disruptive to the business, as Mr. Hunter testified that upon it was, they don't call the sheriff's office every time. It just depends on if it's disruptive to the business. So I think that would be the explanation for that situation, but I also don't think it's relevant to this hearing.
I object to that because he pretty much gave his conclusion for him. Are you basically going with what he said? Well, so I didn't even get a chance to ask that question.
I'll watch the video and I'll look whatever witness.
So just want me to show it to you?
You want to walk up?
Come around.
Yeah.
Here says, I don't mind you recording. As long as your 5G's okay. Turn the volume up. Is this you, Mr. Jerry?
I can use, yes it is.
That is you?
Yep.
Again, this is after I was trespassed for doing the same thing.
I don't mind you recording, just don't be recording individuals. People think you are looking at them
Nope.
from there to here.
Nope.
Okay, that's
Here
fine.
for you guys.
But just don't point it at them. You can point at
She
me
made
all
a
day.
scene, so now she's gonna be famous.
But you can point at me all day, just don't point at the kids.
I didn't. They walked by and I blocked my camera.
All right, we just keep it that way.
He doesn't mind recording after I was trespassed for the same issue. Now, who made the decision to make all the employees stop working?
That's our policy.
Did someone order that decision, or you just?
If you come in with the camera and disrupting the operation, yes, we do.
I understand you're leaning on the disruption part, which is strictly hearsay at this point. You have no evidence of that.
Objection, argumentative.
His argument, but I'll tell you, a sworn individual providing testimony on the stand is evidence.
Okay. It's hearsay evidence. Am I correct on that? So, okay. Let me gain my train of thought here. Whose decision was it to make the employees stop working? The government employees?
The manager of the store, the office.
And what's his name?
We have to tell them that.
I don't know that this witness necessarily, it's outside the scope of his direct, nor has the foundation been lied for it, but I'm not objecting to the question you can answer.
The manager's name was Deborah.
Deborah? So Deborah ordered every employee in there to quit taking the public's business. Stop transacting with the public.
If the person come in and disrupted the operation, yes.
Okay. And I was disrupting by video recording?
And the way you had the material set up, yes.
Did anyone come to you and say I was in their way, couldn't sit down?
No.
So no one complained
By
to
the
you?
time I came in and you had your area set up, they was already in the process. The process already been to call the sheriff, so I had no reason to talk to you.
Right, so I was in
Everybody was sitting
it.
down.
You never witnessed me in anybody's way. Nobody came up to you and said I was in their way or disrupting anybody.
At that time, everybody was sitting down.
So nobody told you I was disrupting them in any way. In their way, they couldn't pass by. Why is this guy in my way? Anything like that.
Everybody was sitting down.
I'm sorry?
At that time, everybody was sitting down.
So no one came up to you and said I was disrupting them or getting in their way or obstructing their passage.
A couple of gentlemen saying that you was holding them up from getting back to what they had to do because we had to stop operation.
No, I didn't decide to stop operations. So nobody told you I was disrupting or interfering them or obstructing their way. Is that correct? He has not answered. Is that correct, sir?
I just said, a gentleman said that you was holding him up for getting back to do what he got to do.
Which is what?
And this transaction go back to whatever he had to do.
And I stopped him from doing his transaction?
Yes, you did.
How so?
Because you was not abiding by our policy.
So if I don't abide by your video recording policy, every government employee stops doing business. Is that
I don't
correct?
speak for every government employee.
I'm sorry?
I don't speak for every government employee.
The people who do the transactions for the DMV stop working because I'm recording. Is that correct?
In accordance with our policy, it is.
According to your policy. But no one came up to you and said I was obstructing, hindering, getting in their way,
I just-
wasn't able to sit down.
Said you was holding him up for getting his transaction done and getting back to what he had to do.
Did that gentleman have a transaction with me?
No, he had a transaction with our office.
Do I control your office?
You were disrupting our office.
Did anyone tell you I was disruptive in their way?
I just told you, you
Objection,
tell me
he's asked
that.
this question.
But he's going off to something that they did. Did I cancel that guy's transaction?
You slowed his transaction.
I slowed his transaction. Do I have authority over anybody that works in the tax collector's office?
Whether you have authority or not.
Do I have the authority to make anybody stop working?
If you don't abide by our policy. you
So all I
disrupt
have to do is not abide by a policy and I have control over every person in there.
That's what you think.
I'm asking you, sir. That's what you're saying to me right
I'm
now.
saying that's what you think. We have a policy. You don't abide by it. We do what we do.
And if I don't abide by the policy, I have control over the workers.
No,
So I didn't disrupt any transaction. Is that correct?
you did.
Whose?
The entire office.
Is that person here to testify?
No.
So again, you're just testifying that I disrupted somebody that we don't know who it is, who there's no evidence of.
I'm testifying to what I saw you do.
You're saying I disrupted somebody's transaction.
Our entire office.
I disrupted your entire office by doing video recording.
Setting up your video recording in a way and not listening to our policy, not abiding by our policy. Yes.
Do you believe your policy is constitutional?
No matter.
Objection is what it
Yeah,
says.
that's calls for a legal.
Okay. Who has the authority to change policy in there?
We have the authority to change policy.
Mm-hmm.
Change policy, write the policy. The director, Tim, Mike.
Okay. So you stated that I was not in anybody's way. I was not disrupting anybody. I was not obstructing any passageway. I wasn't stopping anybody from sitting down. Then earlier you told him that a gentleman threatened to beat me up. Well, he didn't use those words though.
I ain't say beat you up.
The court said we can do it.
If I take his phone and throw it outside, I'm gonna kick me out.
And you're gonna get arrested, dude.
I'll beat your ass, man.
Now you're threatening me.
You're fucked. So that's a promise. It ain't no thing. It's a promise.
Okay, do what you gotta
I
do.
don't give you the right to record.
Right. Don't give you the right
I don't
recording.
give you the right to record me, okay?
You're in public.
It's my right. It's
Sorry?
I say remove your gear. I didn't say beat you up.
I believe he said something along the lines, if I take this effing camera and throw it out the window or out the door,
A camera.
will I get in trouble?
A camera. Not
Correct.
You just said a gentleman threatened to beat.
I'm getting to that part.
Mm.
Did you say what I just said about the camera, taking my camera and throwing it out the window? Okay. And when I said to that gentleman, did I say to that gentleman, go ahead, you'll go to jail?
I don't know what you said.
Okay. Then the gentleman said, I'll kick your ass.
Okay.
Okay. Was this before or after the people stopped working?
It's afterward.
Okay, so the action to make every employee stop taking public transactions because I was standing peacefully recording the back office, way in the back, waiting for Tim to come out. That's when people started threatening to beat me up, started yelling at me to stop recording them, started disparaging my character when I wasn't speaking to any of them. How did I get involved with them? Why did they approach me that way?
Okay, so you wasn't talking to some of the other customers. You didn't tell a lady to leave me alone.
This is after.
You didn't do none of that.
Was that before or after you decided to make everyone stop working?
That was after.
It was after. So they were mad that they couldn't get their transactions.
You disrupted business.
So were the people mad they couldn't get their business done, right?
The people was mad because you disrupted business.
So I control the Pasco County Tax Collector's Office. I didn't know I had this authority. Is that what you're saying?
You don't have no authority. You disrupted the business.
Okay. Did I stop anyone from working?
You stopped the business by not adhering to our policy.
And that's your default is the whole 150 people in here will not get service because John is peacefully standing next to the gatekeeper waiting to make a 30-second transaction with Timothy Couette. Is that what you're going with here?
No, first of all, John, if that's your name, was not standing peacefully. You disrupted the business, so you had no interaction with the customers.
It was after you guys denied them the transaction. I didn't deny them any transaction. Did I speak to anyone before that?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know what a heckler's veto is?
A what?
Heckler's veto.
Actually relevant.
The relevance is that there was no problem with me. There was no problem with me standing there peacefully recording up until the moment they decided to make everyone stop serving about 150 people in there. Before that, it was perfectly peaceful. Nobody was saying a word to me. And what they did is incite a heckler's veto, like, get out of here.
You can make that order when it's that time.
Okay.
Just ask any questions.
Okay. So again, before, no one came to you before you guys made everyone stop working and say I was disruptive, nothing like that. It only happened afterwards. I was threatened to get my ass kicked. I was being disparaged by another lady, and then another foreign lady kept saying she had the right not to be recorded. That's it. Is that right? Is that correct?
I want to repeat that.
Before you guys decided to quit working for the public, did anyone come up to you and say anything about me?
No, because the sheriff was already on the way.
Okay, so nobody's. Now, when the tax collector's office decided to cease serving the public in a very busy DMV, and who told them that it's our fault?
We didn't tell nobody. It was
So why were they all attacking me then?
because you wanted the person who was causing disruption. They can see.
Standing still, standing
You was
still.
not standing still.
I was not standing still. Was I dancing?
No, you was reading the magazine.
I was reading, okay, I was doing this, correct? I was reading your flyers in there that are there for the public.
Correct.
So I was in there
And talking to who?
talking to my camera.
You was talking to the customers.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No.
Mr. Wright, this whole line of questioning has gone a bit far. The question before this tribunal is whether or not he violated the policy. So spending 30 minutes arguing the strength of the policy or the implementation of the policy or whether or not the appellant likes the policy, frankly, none of it's really relevant to this hearing. And I understand the rules are relaxed and he could have some leeway, but it's really, I think it's getting too far.
This is all for the credibility of the witness. It shows for one photographer, he's okay with him. For another, he's making up things that I'm disrupting, which I've never done. The people came at me after they decided to cease and desist serving the public, blaming us. I literally was standing there next to the gatekeeper, recording, waiting for a 30-second transaction with this gentleman right here. All he had to do was take our papers and we would have left. Instead, he decided to flex and turn it all into this. So I guess I don't have any more questions for you. I hope I've established that.
I mean, you're
Credibility.
questions on anything new that he hasn't testified to. And we'll agree with the county that we've kind of gone over the same exact, scenario multiple times.
Right, because I don't believe he's being honest, and I want to ask questions in a different form to make him admit the truth of what happened that day. And I want to reiterate that there's no evidence when I do have evidence. I'm done with him.
Any further questions of this one?
No, sir.
Any other rebuttal questions?
Mr. Hunter, that day on the May 31st, you did have customers who expressed their frustration with the appellant's actions?
Yes, sir.
That they were disturbed by his actions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to ask you a question about the video that was presented to the hearing officer. I don't know if you heard it from where you were sitting, but it involved a different individual on a different day. And I think your quote, to an extent, was taken out of context. What I heard on the video was, "I don't mind you recording, just don't record the lady."
Your kids. That was the complaint.
Because there was a customer that was disturbed by that person
Yes.
recording. So as long as...
So you can see that he's discriminating. When Hillsborough Cop Watch went in there, they're claiming that he caused the disruption by recording, but they didn't trespass him or call the police. When I went in there, did the exact same thing, it was a problem. If that's not discrimination, I don't know what is.
As long as he was sitting in the back not bothering anyone, or sitting in his chair not bothering anyone, you had no problem with it.
Correct.
No further questions.
May I follow up on that?
Sure. You've been limited to those questions he just asked.
So,
Or as the subjects.
right. Before you guys quit working for the public, no one said anything to you, is that correct? You've testified that already. That I was being disrupted, blocking any way, blocking any seats, interrupting anybody, interrupting any transactions. No one said anything to you up until the point when you decided to stop serving the public. Is that correct?
Again, when I walked in, you were already in place, the sheriff was already called. So nobody was
That's not-
complaining because the whole operation was stopped already. So what are you talking about?
Before you guys stopped working, did anyone come up to you and say I was being disruptive, blocking any ways, blocking any seats, stopping any transactions?
No.
No. Oh, every interaction with any customer, any disruption you're claiming right now, was only after you guys stopped working and told them the reason they can't get their work done is because him and I are in there recording. Is that correct?
We did not tell them they can't get the transaction done because you're recording. They can see you were disrupting our business. So no, we did not tell the customers we cannot serve you because this gentleman is here.
Why did you tell them?
I said we didn't tell them that.
Why did you tell them the reason they couldn't get their business done that day?
We just tell them to have a seat. The gentleman here is recording.
So you did tell them I was
We
recording.
want to protect your documents.
So you did tell them I was recording and that's why they can't get served.
We told them to have a seat.
You just
And
testified that you told them I was
And the
recording.
gentleman's recording.
And the gentleman's recording. How is that relevant to the people need to know that?
Well, we let the people know that we're going to protect your documents. So this guy's got a camera, so we're just going to see things right now till this guy's finished recording.
Did that incite people to threaten to kick my ass?
Nope.
That didn't incite them. How would they know it was because of me if you didn't tell them?
Inside. You stop talking to the customer.
How did they know that you didn't stop working because of me?
It's speculation of what other customers were thinking or what they
No,
do.
I'll agree with the county.
I'm done.
At this time, the county would call Mr. Harrison.
So, as you can clearly see, Jerry Hunter is a bold-faced liar. First he said I was blocking people in their passages. Then he changed the story, said I wasn't blocking anybody and nobody came up to him and complained about me blocking them. Then he claims by me standing next to the gatekeeper, people couldn't get by. As you can see in the video, there's plenty of room for people to get by and we're walking by back and forth, no problem. What else did he say? Then he claims just me being there recording was disturbing them and they couldn't get their transactions done, which is a bold-faced lie again. They could have done their transactions no problem. And then he said it was okay for Dan to record in there because even though it's against policy, he wasn't being disruptive like I was. Which again, this guy is one lie after another. And he heard the guy say, can I take his stuff and throw it out? But he missed the part where he said he's going to beat my ass. Conveniently forgot that part. And overall, Jerry is a liar. He's lying under oath. He was sworn in. So what's going to be the punishment for him lying under oath? Nothing. This is a charade of a trial. And the next witness up is a guy I've never even seen before. And he starts telling some stories too. So if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. And when people say just take it to court, just take it to court, this is what happens when you just take it to court. They come in there, they test a lie after lie. What does it do for you? The only reason I'm doing it is to show you what it's like in the actual courts. This is straight up garbage. And he's from one sentence to another, he's changing his story. And I don't know if the video showed it, but he was sweating cannonballs. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Peace, tranquility. Please go to my Etsy store, get a t-shirt, buy a ring. I make beautiful rings out of silver coins. Much love. And if you want to join us on Monday, email me, JohnFilax@gmail.com, and I'll tell you where to meet up. We're going to do an assembly of sorts on Monday, including J-Town Press, Eyes on the State, Cammed Up Caveman. I believe Rice Krispie's going to be there. Please join us. All right, guys. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.